Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, Josh.
Hi, Sid.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Feeling a little under the weather today, so I'm major rallying. So hopefully I can be my chipper self, but I might poop out early. I don't know what happened. I started taking some new supplements that I think are supposed to be taken slowly, easing into it, like amino acids.
Yeah.
And I took all of them at one time.
Oh,
And about 5 hours later last night, it just was like, I just feel wrecked. I feel like I got run over by a car. So I've been kind of out of it and I'm rallied to be here. I didn't want to miss it. So I know you had offered to find another co host, but I was like, no, I got this. I got this.
yeah.
So, and this is coming off a very busy weekend for, gosh, most of the car candy
Yeah.
team. So,
Yep.
why don't we start off by you telling us what you did?
So this last weekend, I was at Rupes in Denver. We did a 2-day paint perfection and ceramic coating class. Um, Wonderful time as always at Rupes.
Mhm.
If you've never been to that training, I suggest you go because it's really good.
Yeah, the Bigfoot Academy is pretty amazing.
Yeah. And then the weekend before that, I was in Springfield, Missouri at
Great.
my
Yeah,
detail supply with our buddy
yeah,
Clint doing a
yeah.
ceramic coating and paint correction training there, and really
Yes.
good turnout for that one.
Yeah. Very good. And are you having a good time with the coatings? I know this is kind of new for doing coating installs. So that's all going well.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Everybody's loving the Premiere. The
Yeah.
easy application. The slickness, the gloss.
Yeah. It's a pretty incredible coating. I've gotten to play a little bit with it. I only had one bottle, but I've gotten to play with it and had a fantastic experience every time. So that's super, super awesome. And let's see, Megan was in Fredericksburg, Virginia at a grand opening of a detailing world. So, and they had kind of a grand opening and cars and coffee. So they had a bunch of people there. She was with Barry Thiel, who is from Barjack NSB3, good friend. So they got to hang out and have a good time, and that was super exciting. And then for me, I went and hosted an industry event in Santa Rosa, California. Got to see a whole bunch of brands, friends, obviously. Got to MC the event and just got to talk to a lot of detailers, which for me, that's what I love. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it was good times, good times. And then I did go to Alcatraz on Sunday, and we were so sad that you weren't with us because it was
yeah.
kind of in honor of Keith always saying, like, we're not going back to prison. So we just decided to all
Let's go to
go, and
prison.
yeah, so we definitely did miss you on that, but that was really great. But I also think that could be part of my problem is we had really bad traffic on Sunday morning and I was in the back of Tony's truck, and I am not a good passenger. Terrible. Definitely sitting in the back. So for years I've always told people like I have to sit in the front, and I'm not trying to be bougie or try to be a, you know, front seat snob, but I do not do well in the back of a
Yeah,
car. And we were stuck in San Francisco traffic, and it was stop and go. And I think that's part of my problem too, is just my whole equilibrium got thrown off. And then I took those amino acids. And it was funny. I was talking to Joey Blinsky earlier, and he said, I think like I took those, but when I worked out. And I was like, are you trying to say that I wasn't active enough yesterday? Which is probably true. Probably
yeah,
true. So yeah, so we went through the traffic and I was already dying, and then we got on a boat.
yeah. That'll do it.
Yeah. So I think I'm just having a hard time what's regulating my equilibrium. So anyway, that's been good times. We've been cranking at Car Candy. I know everything is so busy. They're very close to finishing the new building.
Yeah,
That is going to change everything. We're super excited about that. So we posted a um, video on that last week that it's pretty cool. Like all the pallet racking got there and stuff. It's pretty amazing. So that's been fun to watch. And geez, it's just been a very busy 2 weeks.
yeah. But
Very busy.
been good. Been really good 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, let's say good morning to a couple people here. We've got Frank Opais. Hi, Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Good afternoon. Chad had a big event this weekend too and had
Yep.
a really great setup. That was amazing, Chad. I loved it.
Yeah, it looked really good. Wished I could have been there, buddy.
Yeah. Yep. And thank you for saying you hope I feel better. I'm gonna go back to bed as soon as we're done here. I actually feel like the best right now that I've been in like the last 24 hours, but this might take it out of me. All right, Superado, welcome. Happy Tuesday, Sid and Josh. Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
We are happy you're here. Ron Ayat. Hello, Sydney and Josh. Hello, Ron. Thanks for
Hey,
joining
Ron.
us. Keith Duplessis. Hello from Pennsylvania. Barry and I are listening while driving to the Barjack mothership. How exciting.
Could you imagine being in that car
No.
with Barry
I
and
don't know
Keith?
how anybody gets a word in edgewise. Honestly. That's too funny. And then Ron saying, "Hi Keith, my scroller's weird today." Hi, Keith. Michael Rasmussen. Good afternoon. It sounds like you both have been busy. Yes. And I will say, and I'm sure Josh is the same, but also not only on top of all of this, it's just springtime and my shop is
Yeah.
just slammed.
Swamped. Yep. We have been
Slammed. I
absolutely
mean, I'm
just
out like,
crazy.
yeah, I'm out like 6 weeks right now. It's crazy and have been like that for a while. So just call after call coming in. And I'm like, Sarah Riles.
Hi,
Thanks
Sarah.
for joining us. Sarah, we want a little bit more feedback on the Sweet Elite. Last time we chatted, you had just gotten it, so we haven't gotten to hear what your favorite is yet. Chad Emerson, I would love to be in that car. You know what, Chad? I would probably last about 12 minutes in that car. Not gonna lie.
It'd be fun.
I love Barry and Keith, but I can't imagine being stuck in a car with them. And I say that in the most lovingly way. Lovingly way. Actually, I would like to be stuck in a car with them. That could be pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining. All right, guys. So we have a fun topic for you here today. We like to have a topic to kind of get the comments stirred and have brains start thinking. So today, what I wanted to focus on is, when is a product more important than a process and vice versa? When is the process more important than whatever product you use? So you have to kind of dig deep and think about this. And so, like, my number one that I'm going to come up with is, I'm going to say wheel cleaning. It's actually the product. There's a million different ways to clean a wheel, but if you don't start with a really good product, it really doesn't matter what your process is. You could be sitting there scrubbing forever. So that is one area where, I think a lot of them are going to lean more towards the process versus the
Yep.
product. But my personal opinion, I think on wheel cleaning, it tips a little bit more towards, you need to have a good product to get you started. Because if you have a product that mostly melts off all the dirt and grime,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, what would yours be?
So kind of on the product into, I would say a good coating.
Yeah.
Um, if you have a really good process but a crappy coating,
Yeah.
it's still not, you're not gonna be happy.
Yeah.
But you can have a really good coating that's easy to apply and not have the best process in the world and
Yeah.
still
Yeah. That's
pump
so
out
true.
good
That's
work.
so true. I did not think of that one. That is absolutely true. All right. Keith Duplessis saying, we would let you sit in the front seat. And Jason Kelsey says hello, by the way. That's so nice. Um, I'm obsessed with Jason Kelsey. We'll just say it like right out there why Keith said that. I'm obsessed with him. And Barry has like connections. And he told me if I came and saw him that maybe he would try to, get me a sighting of Jason Kelsey. But I'm obsessed with Jason Kelsey. So we all have our downfalls.
Sounds like we need to go do a training at Barjack.
Yes. That is mine is I love Jason Kelsey. All right. Oops, I missed Sarah's comment. She said it's all amazing, but the rinseless wash and interior. Does that mean you don't like the rinseless wash or the interior? I'm not sure what she means by that. I love the rinseless wash interior. Man, I've
Yeah.
been, fun fact, I had a customer about the interior that, most of my customers, I don't tell them that I've switched using products, or, I mean, they don't even know that like I do anything else besides this.
Yeah.
I literally live two different lives. And I had a customer in a couple weeks ago, and she texted me the next day and said, whatever interior cleaner you used, I love it. Like, so she noticed it. And of course, she was one that doesn't know anything about
Yep.
me, doesn't know, that I switched, anything like that. But she said, whatever you used, I really love it over what you used to use. And I was like, oh, that's crazy that you could tell that, but I like that.
Yeah. So when we were at Rupes, we did the wash process on Ilya's Lexus,
Uh-huh.
and we used Sweet Elite Wheel and Tire Cleaner. I mean, it did amazing, like always. But the next morning he comes in, he says, "I don't know what you used on my car, but my garage smelled amazing this morning."
Yes. Yes. That is what I do love is it literally lingers. So every morning when I walk in my shop, it smells like the um, wheel and tire cleaner. It's so funny. I love it. Love it. All right. Ron says, I agree with Sydney on the wheel cleaning. I did the wheels of a Nissan Sentra this morning and the dealership slathered this terrible goop on the tires and wheels. Oh man, I've been struggling with that. I think like the dealerships here just switched back to some goop from somewhere. I
Yeah.
didn't fight it very much, but I've had a couple brand new cars lately and the tire dressing that they're putting on them is just terrible. Absolutely terrible. So yeah, that's no fun to get off. Josh, what do you do when they have like really bad goopy dealership tires? What do you use to clean them?
So I'll go straight to greaser, like
Yeah.
really strong degreaser.
Yeah. Like hot tamale or something.
Yep.
And then do you still go back with a tire cleaner after
Yeah.
that?
Yep. I still
Okay.
go back with Chocolate Thunder and everything.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Ron. Not only did it sling, it held brake dust like a
Yep.
Velcro. Yes. Oh man, I hate it. That stuff has been just awful. Awful. All right, Chad, can I go too? Pretty please. Wow. Can you imagine? I feel like we should just make this car thing happen just to see how it goes and record it.
Yeah.
Because I think Chad would just sit in the back taking it all in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chad's kind of like you, a man of few words. Did you like the play on the Real Talk with Josh
I did. I like that.
video? Yeah, that was
That was
pretty
good.
funny. Yeah. Bradley Bradshaw, thanks for joining us.
Hey, buddy.
He says, hey, hey. Okay, Sarah, I love the rinseless, but I meant between the rinseless and interior for my favorite. Yeah. I really, really love the rinseless, but I almost have to say the wheel and tire is still my favorite. It is so good and so fun to
Yeah.
use. I love the rinseless. It's like, you know, 1% below the wheel and tire, but I think the wheel and tire is just, which is on that realm of process versus product, right?
Yeah.
So if we had to say on rinseless, what do you think is more important, the product or the process?
Actually, I think the product. I really do.
I think it's probably 50-50 on there though,
Yeah.
because I think the
I
process, if you don't do the process right, you could also mess stuff up regardless of how
yeah.
good the product is. That one's kind of split down the middle. I do totally agree that the product, but that one, the process is pretty darn important. All right, Ron Ayat says multiple rounds of Chocolate Thunder and Iron Buster was required to get the wheels clean. I had to use KCX Ulex to get the goop off the tires. Now, yeah, I would use that too, but that would be a bummer to use that much Ulex. But I love Ulex. That's such a great product. I do love that. All right, Jeff Converse, welcome. Good afternoon. I tried the Sweet Elite tire and wheel cleaner and it worked very well. I have a question though. We're in Florida and I get love bugs, which are very acidic. Does the bug remover damage coatings?
No.
Yeah, no.
I mean, coatings are chemically resistant, so
Yeah.
you'll be good as long as you don't let stuff dry.
Yeah, yeah. Just don't let it dry. I will say the bug remover, we've been really focusing on that lately, and the bug remover is so good. And I soaked down the front of my car with the bug remover um, a couple times, and it has not affected the hydrophobics at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's very, very effective on the love bugs. And I will probably say that obviously Josh and I weren't here when that product was developed. I would probably say since it was developed in Florida, it was probably well tested on the love bugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dark Dragon, hello all. Hi, thanks for joining us. Look who showed up, Anthony Carrera. Hey,
What's up,
bud.
buddy?
Thanks for joining in.
We miss you, Anthony.
Yeah. Okay, Dark Dragon. Number one is wheel and tire, and number two, rinseless, are both product process driven to me. Yeah. Yep. Totally. Totally. So I chose one that was product driven, a process driven. I know this isn't going to be probably popular opinion, but I'm almost going to say that it's a little bit process, like interior cleaning.
Yeah.
Like you got to have the right tools and the right process that if you're, I think the process of that kind of outweighs the product itself. I think there's just a lot of good products, and
Hmm.
I've done interiors with bad interior products, and I can still make them work pretty good if I have the right tools and processes. So I would almost have to say a process one is interiors.
Yeah. And I'm kind of that way with paint correction. Um, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, there's obviously, compounds and polishes out there that are better
Right.
than others, but I
Yeah.
can correct a car with crappy compound and polish.
Yeah. 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 Because you know how to work the tool and the pad,
Yep.
and you have a couple other things on your side for sure. All right. Dalton Cash says, "What's up, Josh?"
What's up, Dalton? Dalton's
Yes.
from down in Missouri.
Oh, nice. Anthony Carrera says, "Use Chocolate Thunder for that." I think he's probably talking about the love bugs, because I do know that Chocolate Thunder does work very good on bugs
Yeah.
for sure. For sure. Travis Aldridge, welcome. He says, "Does car candy have a dressing like Kosh Kami Motorplast?" Um, no. I'm going to say no because I think that Motorplast is very, very unique. I actually don't know of any brand that has a product like that. Now, if we take it one step removed from like the electrostatic stuff, um, I would say stay tuned as far as like self-leveling dressing.
Hmm.
Stay
Yep.
tuned for that, but which it'll be just fine in engine bays. But I do think, I use products from every single brand, and Motorplast, there's really nothing else like it because it's got all those electrostatic protectors that are meant for all the electric stuff. Now, I will say, because I do think that that's a very good product, but I'm super bougie and I only use it on my own car. I don't usually use it on my customers' cars because of cost. I don't think that necessarily the cost always outweighs the benefit of it. But I do really enjoy using the product. So I use it on my own car. I use it on my family's cars. But if I'm in a dealership or a detail setting, that's a really
Hmm.
high cost
Yep.
leave behind for customers. So that's just my opinion. I absolutely love the product, but I don't love the price. Kyle Clark says, "I love the Sweet Elite. It's like an Express 2.0." It's pretty, yeah. I mean, when we talk about, like, 2.0s, which Kyle knows I hate 2.0 products, but this is kind of funny because it just cleans super, super well, but it does a
Yeah.
couple things that Express doesn't. And Anthony, who's here with us today, Anthony Carrera, actually realized that you can wipe the interior cleaner off windows, whereas Express you couldn't. And so if you get a little overspray or you have like a really dirty window, like hit it with that
Hmm.
interior cleaner first. And then, you're probably gonna have to go back over it. But it actually does a pretty good job cleaning glass up,
Yeah. And
which is
when you're
pretty
doing the
cool.
interiors with the high gloss, black stuff in there or
Yeah.
the wood, it
Yeah.
doesn't streak those up like other interior cleaners does. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's funny. Express 2.0. It is a good version too, for sure. Anthony Carrera, what's up? All right, Clint James, what's up? The bug remover is great. It really is. I love the bug remover. I
Yeah.
really, really like it. It's really, really good. And I think that that's one of them for me that, like, from the first time I used it, I was like, "This is so good." I also love the high dilution rate of it. It's 4 to 1. So, like, a quart even is gonna last
Hmm.
you forever.
Yeah.
So I love the dilution rate. I just love it. The only thing I haven't tried with it is putting it in a foam cannon.
I
I haven't
haven't
had a
tried that
car
either.
Yeah, I haven't had a car bad enough I'm gonna need to get another foam cannon, but I love that. I do love the bug remover. It's so good. Mike Rhines replying to Anthony Carrera, "Yo." Love it. Clint replying to Dalton, "What's up, dude?" I didn't know that you could, like, reply like that. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Anthony says, "Yes." I'm thinking he's talking about the bugs again. All right, Frank, I agree with Sydney on the interiors. Yeah. You gotta have a good process. You gotta have
Yep.
good tools. You gotta have good brushes. You gotta have good towels. You gotta have a steamer. It's really, I think personally, I think I could almost clean an interior without cleaner. I mean, I say that I've never tried. It probably wouldn't go well, but you know what I mean? Like I could do a pretty dang good job with just a steamer alone. So yeah, definitely that one is a,
Yep.
I love this. This is hilarious. Clint, what's a love bug? Who wants to tell him?
I'm not even actually sure what a love bug is, to be honest with you.
I think they're just ginormous,
Yeah.
awful, awful bugs. And I think that when you're driving, it sounds like it's raining. Like they're just everywhere. I think they have big wings. They're just really nasty. Anthony, give us a good description of a love bug. You probably know them all too well. And then how did we decide to say this?
So I'm just going to call him Josh because that's his
Okay,
name.
Josh. Perfect. Okay, Josh. Hey, I think you're waving. That's so nice. Thanks for being here. Dalton Cash. What's up, Clint? We love having our distributors here. Sean Kosher. What's up, everyone? How are you? Anthony said they should be called hate bugs because there's nothing to love about them. Yeah, I've heard they're pretty gnarly. I think they are just huge. And yeah, when you're driving through them, it just sounds like rain. And
Yeah.
it's just awful. And they're huge. Sean says works really good. He's probably talking about the bug cleaner. I like the Wonder. You know, what is he talking about? Chocolate Thunder wheel cleaner is great. It
Yes,
really
it is.
is. It really is. And, you know, I know we've talked a lot about Chocolate Thunder on here and how the first time we both used it, we didn't totally love it because I'm kind of more of like a show and like foam type of
Yeah.
girl. But I just use it in a foam cannon now and it works great. I love it in a foam cannon. So I just have a dedicated foam cannon with it's straight. Love it. Love it. Thomas Oleski.
What's up, Tom?
And hello, hello. We miss you both. Man, we miss you too. I
I
hope we
know,
get to
buddy.
see you sometime soon. Love Thomas. Sarah Riles. Is it possible to have a
I think
bar,
she
I
means
think she
bar
means bar
jack.
jack and car candy training at Car Supplies Warehouse?
I bet we
Let us
could.
let us ask. I definitely think that would be a possibility. That would be super fun. So let us check in with Jason though. I know he's just getting back from his crazy
His
long
world tour.
world tour. God, that was amazing. So let's work. We'll work on that. You will see other car candy and bar jack trainings around though, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But we'll shoot for Car Supplies Warehouse. I love going to Car Supplies Warehouse. Okay, so Anthony Correa, fun fact, they were mutated by FSU and released in the 70s. That's terrible. As like a science experiment? That is
Hmm.
just terrible. That's no fun. That's no fun. All right, Sean says nothing to love about him. Man, love it. Now, okay, so here's a question because Josh and I don't have love bugs. Does the bug remover work good on love bugs? Like, let us know.
I bet it does.
I'm sure it does. I would think that that was like a major part of the test, right? Jeff Converse says love bugs are small. Oh, I thought they were big and they live for 3 days. They are
Hmm.
like they like heat, so they like all the highways and the roads and they all die off and come back in the fall for a week. Yeah. We have
Huh.
like cicadas here once in a while. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yep. We
one
do too.
time every and it's like one time every 6 years or something and it is crazy when they come through. Maybe that's why I'm thinking love bugs are huge because the cicadas are huge. Anthony Carrera, black and orange, two attached together, and they live for 24 to 48 hours and die.
Hmm.
About the size of a horsefly. I feel like that's pretty big, though. I mean, I know not like big, big, but I'm not a fan of horseflies either.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever been bit by one? It shit
No,
hurts.
no, I have not.
It hurts.
I have not. Nope. Sean says he was talking about the interior cleaner works
Oh
good.
yeah.
It does work very, very good. Yes. Love it. All right. So Josh says, curious you have if you have any certain products in R&D that's exciting and you can share with us. Josh, do we?
Well, we do have some stuff in R&D.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. Do we want to tell them? I mean,
Um, I mean, we could tell them the genre it's in. Yeah.
okay, so we'll have some sort of dressing
Yeah.
at some point that
Mhm.
we're working on. And then a soap.
Yep.
then we may or may not be kind of tweaking some car candy formulas.
Yeah.
So I'd say look out next 2, 3 months. We'll have some stuff coming.
Yeah. We're pretty excited about it. And we're getting
Yep. And
close. We're getting
yeah,
close.
and SEMA's not that far away. So I anticipate we'll have some decent stuff for SEMA coming.
Yep. Yep. I love this. So, because we didn't do this yet. So, product of the week. So, let's do product of the week since Chad brought it up. So, his product of the week is Premiere. Had another detailer in my shop yesterday after finishing a vehicle and he was blown away at the slickness and gloss. Absolutely. It is really crazy.
Yeah.
Josh, what is your product of the week?
Um, I'm gonna go with the ceramic detailer.
Okay.
I used it 2 or 3 times last week, and it seems like every time I use it, I like it more and more. And not that I didn't like it, but it
Yeah.
just
No, it's just really easy to use, and I really
yeah,
love that. I love that, and I like the smell of it. I love to just wipe down the customer's car right before they come, and everything smells amazing. I love it. So mine, I'm gonna pick a Sweet Elite and a car candy. So Sweet Elite is the rinseless wash. I've just been able to get using that more, and I'm just super, super happy with it, how well it cleans and how well it cuts through the
yeah,
dirt. And again, the smell, I love that my shop smells like it for the whole day. It's just really, really delightful. So I really love that from Sweet Elite. And then from Car Candy, I'm gonna have to go with that's still a toss-up because I think I've already said the towel cleaner at one point, but I still really love that. But I'm gonna have to go with Eradicator. I may have already said that too, but man, I love that product. We've had to
yeah.
use it a couple
It's
times on different things like inside clothing and then cars. We had to use it. Yesterday, we had a GMC Terrain that had cloth seats that had milk all over the back of
mm,
them from babies. And I could not believe how good it cleaned it up and no smell was left
yeah,
behind. It was crazy. So I'm going to have to go with Eradicator. Love it. All right, Keith Duplessis, because he's in a higher up position. Keith says Barjack says yes. Dalton had a great time at the class in Nixa, Missouri at my detail supply.
yeah.
That's awesome.
It was great to hang with you, Dalton. It was a really good class.
Yeah. Anthony Carrera says Barjack, and yes, a science experiment. That's terrible. That's like the whole chicken on Kauai Island. They like released some chickens and now like the chickens own the whole island. Oh, Ron says he's got to run, catch up the replay later. Thank you.
See you,
We
Ron.
appreciate you being here, Ron. Sean says, I have yet to try the Elite Wheel and Tire Cleaner.
You must try it, buddy.
Yeah, you got to get your hands on some of that. It's so good. So, so good. Anthony says they're super acidic, the bugs. I bet. So, do they eat through stuff real fast? I'm assuming they're just terrible on cars that are not coated. Kyle Camus, afternoon fam. Thanks
What's
for
up,
checking
Kyle?
in.
I was so bummed I didn't get to see Kyle when I was out in Denver.
Yeah, I saw that. He was a little too busy. That's such a bummer. Jeff Converse says, love bugs were supposed to eat mosquitoes and bugs in orange groves, but that experiment failed. That's crazy.
Hmm.
That's crazy. Anthony says, I'll text y'all in the group chat. Perfect. Perfect. Jeff Converse. But since love bugs are acidic, nothing wants to eat them. They have no natural
Oh,
predators, only our vehicles. Oh, that's interesting.
yeah.
Sarah Barjack, the phone likes to change what I type. Mine does that too, and it's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
I'll say a word and I'll type it right and it will change it, and then I'll click on it and it will be like, "Oh, do you want to go back to the word you typed?" And it's like, "Yes," because that was an actual word. So crazy. Anthony says super slick. All right. All right. Dalton Cash says, "Josh, I need one of those hats." You know what? I
I'm
don't
gonna have
have one.
to.
I don't
Yeah,
have
I'm
one
gonna
of
have to
those
get
hats
some more made.
either. Yeah, I don't have one either. Sean Sepulveda, thanks for
Hey,
checking in,
Sean.
bud. Yeah, I was with Sean all weekend. Man, he's such a great host. So he lives in Santa Rosa where I was, and he took us all around, got us fancy
That's cool.
coffees. Yeah, we got to spend a lot of time with Sean. He was great. His shop is so cool. So cool. All right, Anthony Carrera, within 4 days, it destroys paints. That's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy. How do the coatings hold up to him? I want to know. That will be interesting to know. All right, guys, if you have any other process versus product, I would love to hear it. Love to hear it. So let's talk about what is coming up for car candy. What do we got? So I want to say one thing real quick before you say what's coming up is can you guys hear me? I'm way away from my speaker.
Yeah.
So we got to go over our SEMA plans
Oh man.
and they are unhinged. And I'm so excited about it. We can't give anything away, but I will say that we are pulling out all the stops. Like it's going to be
Yeah,
so fun. I cannot wait for
it's gonna be
SEMA. Yeah. So if you're planning on
big.
going to SEMA, I mean, you gotta come because it's gonna be so fun. So that was like the highlight this week so far was doing the SEMA planning is so
And
fun.
we've got some pretty crazy ideas.
Yes. Very crazy. Very crazy. I'm super excited. So what else is coming up?
I'm actually pretty quiet for the next 2, 3 weeks. I don't think my next trip's planned till I come out to your place for the car show.
Yeah, yeah, super exciting. That's on June 20th. And then, yeah, I know we've got a lot of pending
Yep.
visits. So we're working on those. And so, I mean, really, like in the next couple weeks, we're going to have some things lined up that are going to be pretty exciting. Clint James says, replying to Dalton, I have a shirt here for you, but I'm out of hats.
I'll get some more hats headed to you, buddy.
All right. Josh says, if someone switched from consumer grade chemicals to pro grade, what would be the biggest immediate difference by car candy? So
I
consumer
mean,
grade to pro grade, what would be the biggest difference?
to me, it's the dilution and the
Yeah.
strength. I mean,
Yeah. Yep. I think that's probably the biggest thing is the dilution. So when you're buying consumer grade out of the store, they're making sure that it's safe no matter whose hands they put it in. The pro grade it's going to save you a ton of money. So it's going to be much more economical for you. But the other nice thing is you're not stuck with the one dilution. You can do multiple different dilutions
yep.
to get different jobs out of the product. And maybe, some people might want things stronger for where they live, weaker for where they live. So it's nicer that you can play with them a little bit more and figure out how strong you want something. And then also, I think the pro grade probably, um, levels out of what it does, the power of it. And so, say, like
Hmm.
maybe the wheel and tire cleaners might be a little bit stronger. I lost connection. There we go. Oh
Yep,
no,
there you are.
there I am. That's so weird when it does that. So they're just stronger. And so,
Yeah.
you have to kind of know how to use them. And like the example I'm going to use here is like a consumer grade coating versus a pro grade coating. And I know that's like way at the top of the thing, but a consumer grade coating or like a 1 year would be at a level where if somebody put it on and they did it wrong, it's going to be easy to fix. Whereas a pro grade, if they do something damage with it, it's harder to fix. Now,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean to make pro grade sound bad because if you're like us, you wanna get the job done as soon as possible, and you wanna be able to tweak your dilutions and stuff. So, obviously, we're big fans of pro grade, but, I think that's probably the biggest thing is if you're getting ready to jump up from consumer grade is just make sure that you watch videos, that you research them,
Yep.
research the dilution, reach out to one of us if you need. So that's probably my biggest thing there is if there's any question. Obviously, like soaps are easy, but some of the degreasers, APCs, things like the bug remover, water spot remover, you're going to kind of want to make sure you know what you're doing before you make the switch.
Yep. And you're going to figure out pretty quick that it's way more economical with the pro
Hmm.
grade,
Yeah,
which sounds crazy, but I mean, you could buy a quart of interior cleaner, for less
yeah,
than you could buy a quart of or a pint of interior cleaner from,
yeah.
one of the retail products in Walmart.
For sure. I know that the financial part is such a huge deal. When I first started my business, I was just working and hardly taking anything out of the business. And I would take my profits and go down and buy, you know, 2 more bottles of McGuire interior dressing. And I would buying the 16-ounce ready to use. And I thought I was doing this smart thing. And then when I got into buying gallons and things that were
Hmm.
dilutable, then it was like, oh, wait, like each pint now is $1.50 versus 17.99,
Yeah.
you know, kind of crazy, kind of crazy. let's see. I think this is the one wrong. It won't let me. This thing is so sensitive for scrolling up. Anthony, I forgot Anthony's. It said it helps, but it's not bulletproof. Okay, so Jeff Couch says switched from commercial to pro grade, and you'll start saving money quickly. Better results, less effort. And did I mention you'll save money? Absolutely. I think that was the thing I felt the dumbest about was buying pints ready
Yeah.
to use
Well,
out of, and using them in a
if you,
detailed setting.
if you
You know,
don't know, you don't know. I mean,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but if you love a product, try to get it in a gallon.
yeah,
Because obviously we're not gonna put down, ready to use. We just made a whole line,
yeah,
which is great. But, if you're gonna be using it in a detailed setting and in quantity, you wanna move up to the gallons pretty quickly and refill your pints. Manny Rice says, Archie, the consumer grade would be great for those these in betweens for your clients. I always have clients ask what they should do you use for in between. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it.
yep. And it's never a bad idea to kind of build them out a care package that you can work into the price of the detail and send them home with something to
Yeah.
maintain their vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think too, like, obviously when we developed Sweet Elite, that was kind of with that in mind, was
Yeah,
we wanted something for the consumer to be able to use. I wouldn't say these products are consumer grade though. They're definitely not consumer grade. They're pro grade, but they're ready to use, ready for the consumer, totally safe for them to use. And so, we made them that way so that anybody could use them, even detailers, for sure. And like I'll give you guys a really fair example on this, because obviously we know I love the Sweet Elite wheel and tire, but if I use that exclusively as my wheel and tire cleaner, I'm gonna go through it pretty darn fast.
yep.
Especially with my kids working with me. My daughter loves to use an entire 16-ounce bottle on each vehicle. I came home yesterday and she had 3 empty pints, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And so I do use the Sweet Elite because I love it, but I use it kind of, I kind of pick and choose when I use it.
Yeah.
But when I'm just doing a car wash, or I'm, gonna be doing 2 cars in a day and I just need to get them out of there, my cat is eating things he's not supposed to. He's down to about 6 lives left. Archie. Um, I've been using Burst in the IK foamer. So
Okay.
that's kind of my production. I wish there was a good smell in Burst, and maybe that we just need to fix that. Hey, you're gonna stop. So I've been using Burst in my IK sprayer. So when I'm like pumping out the wheels and I'm, not wanting to go through a ton of product, because I mean it still is money, right? And I try to, you know, put myself in regular detailer shoes. And so I have Burst in an IK foamer, and then obviously I have Chocolate Thunder in the foam can. And so I kind of have my steps on what I want to hit it with,
Yeah.
but I've been enjoying the Burst in the IK foamer. And I know that a couple guys last episode said that like my filament is a major, he likes to eat it. A couple guys were saying that they were using the Sweet Elite in in an IK foamer to make it go farther, and I need to try that.
Yeah, I haven't tried that either yet.
Tried that yet. I need to do that. Okay, let's see here. We've got Josh says, what is the biggest process mistake that even great products can't overcome?
I'd say bad technique.
Yeah.
If let's say paint correction, if you're doing paint correction and you have the best compound and polish in the world and you don't know how to run a polisher, you don't have good technique, you're not gonna get the job done.
Yeah. I think my answer to this, what is the biggest process mistake that even the great product, I'm going to say water spot removal. It does,
Yeah,
like, you could have the best water spot removal liquid, and if you don't have the process down right, if you don't have a good process, that can go wrong even with the best products. Phone is ringing. So that, I think, for me would be, you got to have your process down on water spot removal, because the product is not going to get you out of that. It's not going to get you out of that jam. All right, we've got David. Hi, all from Hydro Detailing. Hello. And then this one might be for you, Josh. Any news about training or distributing in Europe?
we're working on it. We're working with 2 or 3 different partners right now, trying to get something hammered out. So hopefully, within the next 5, 6 months, we'll have something in place.
Yeah.
It's a slow process introducing a product
Yeah,
line into a new country.
for sure. It doesn't exactly happen quick. Bob Cox. Hello, superstars.
Hi,
Hello.
Bob. Bob and his wife Kim were with me in Rupes last weekend.
Oh, were they? Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
And then we were
Oh,
driving
tell us
home
how it
Saturday
was.
night.
Yeah.
So we were about 30 miles ahead of me, and we
Uh-huh.
both got caught in a massive hailstorm.
What?
Yeah, it was like a 35-minute long hailstorm.
Oh my
Crazy.
gosh. You have the weirdest weather.
Yeah. I just need to stop driving places.
Yeah, you got to just fly. Hopefully, you're flying to Boise in June.
Yes. Already got my ticket booked.
Good, good, because that last trip to Boise was, I think it did us all in. You were the one in the car, but we had to worry
Yeah.
about it the whole way. Yes. Okay, Josh says, love all the great answers. I bet they will help someone along the way. Love the podcast. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you. That's
Thanks,
what we're here
Josh.
for. Yes, this is what we're here for. We love to answer questions. We love to help you guys. That is absolutely what we are here for. David says, does Car Candy have any coatings, consumer and or pro? If there is, do they flash and sweat or indicate? What basically what does their indicate? And can
Yeah.
IR lamps be used if there are?
So we do have, I'd say our coatings are more on the pro grade. One, our Premier, you can't get unless you're a certified installer. Then we have Elite, which is our, say 3 to 5 year coating. It's available for purchase, through our distributors to anybody. And both of our coatings sweat.
Mhm.
And I've never tried to IR lamp it, but I bet it could. I mean, I don't know that you need to because they're both cured, initial cure in 3 hours. So
Yeah, and David, I don't know about what kind of coatings you generally use. I haven't had to use an IR lamp since 2018.
yeah,
Some of those coatings were specifically manufactured that they needed the IR cure because they needed something to help them cure. So many of the coatings on the markets now are, they're surface cured within like an hour. It doesn't mean they're totally cured, but they're surface cured where they can leave and go out. And so I think that there's some that still use the IR lamp believing that it is going to speed up the curing, but for me it's not really a problem. I think what do we tell people not to wash it for 3 days,
yeah,
which
yep,
they weren't going to do that anyway. I used to use the IR lamp when the manufacturer specified it, but two, if we used to say 7 days before you'd wash it. And so
yep.
sometimes with the IR lamp you could, speed that process up for the customer, but nowadays, it's just not really necessary, and I know for me, I actually damaged a car with the IR lamp, by incorrect process. What we're talking about today. I melted the fender on a brand new Mustang GT 500.
Oh,
Now, yeah, that was good times, but luckily it was PPF'd and I melted the PPF. But even had the PPF not been there, I still would have melted it because I still
yeah.
got distracted and left it for too long. And so for me, IR lamps are not allowed in my house anymore. I think I threw it out back the day that happened. Because yeah, you can do some damage on the IR lamp. Hi Archie. Whoa. Yeah. Look at his tail, his little raccoon tail. He's so funny. He's so funny. But yeah, I think another process that you can get yourself in trouble with is probably cleaning leather. Oh gosh, he's stepping on everything. Is
Yeah,
probably cleaning leather. I think that if you clean leather with the wrong process, the process of cleaning leather
absolutely.
is pretty important, right?
Yep.
I think Richard Hutchins, who is a big fan of the IDA, actually posted in the IDA group the other day, what is the worst information you've ever been given about cleaning leather? And I don't normally answer those, but I did on this one because I was like, oh, the magic eraser. Have I ever
Yeah.
cleaned leather with a magic eraser? Sure have. Was it a good idea? Sure not.
Yep.
You know, um, I use the magic eraser on plastic and vinyl all the time, but yeah, leather, I've had to use it like in an important instance, but that's definitely where a process. Okay, he's being naughty. Naughty. All right. David said, I had a client urging to pick their car up and it was raining outside 1 hour after it was done. So I've had that situation too. And honestly, if you wanted to save your IR lamp for situations like that, I just don't know if I can say that definitively if that would make a difference on our coatings.
I don't think it would.
I don't
I
think it would
mean,
either. And honestly, I think after an hour, it's probably fine to get
yeah,
wet. I've
yeah,
definitely had them get wet, and I just tell them either leave it to dry or I give them a drying towel and tell them to wipe it down. Now, that's a little bit unfair because most of my customers live within a 1 mile radius of me, right? So when my customers take their cars home, they're pretty close to their garages.
yep,
The only time I would keep it would probably be if, they lived in Nampa or something far away, but it can get wet after an hour. When we
yeah.
say
So
don't wash it, it's because of the friction and the pressure, not
yeah,
because of getting wet.
we did the car I drove out to Denver. That
Mhm.
was the car we coated.
Okay.
And I left Saturday, and within an hour, I was in
Yeah.
rain, and it's
Rain and hail.
just
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. They hold up pretty well to just getting wet. It's when we say wash, it's not because of the water, it's because of friction and, we don't want any pressure on it and things like that. Um, oh, oops, I missed his last question. David said, how can European people get certified since I mostly do pro coatings?
That's part of our
We're
distributor thing we're working on now.
Yeah, we are working on that. But remember, he's not in the US.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so we're working on that. We're actually developing our whole training program, but I feel like maybe, I mean, if we do get it into the European market, that's great. And then maybe that's where we have our distributor certify you, or I don't see why we couldn't do a certification on like
Zoom
Zoom or
call
something.
or yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
We'll figure
Totally.
it out.
And this is what I love about these pro coatings is, we've been doing them long enough that we've watched all the how they've changed. I mean, 7 years ago, during these classes where we would certify people, the process of putting on the coating was the most important part of the day.
Yeah.
And honestly, now it's not. It's kind of flip-flopped. The most important part of the day is the prep because the coatings have become so easy. Now, that's not to say you don't need to be certified. We want to make sure that you know how to put them on. However, they're so user-friendly and such a great experience that we really have cut out the risk involved in them other than
Yep.
literally just the risk of a high spot. But we've cut out so much of the things that used to make coatings hard that, certifying you on it is probably easy to do over Zoom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's pretty easy.
Yep. We'll figure it out.
Mike Ryan says infrared does make a difference in the film build. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you
Hmm.
mean the PPF?
I think he means the thickness of the coating.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't use infrared. That my IR lamp is still out to die in the back 40. Mike says, David, we will have an option for you. Absolutely. We are all three of us, Mike, myself, and Josh, are working on our coding program right now. So we will definitely add that into what do we do as we're trying to get into more international markets. What do we do to help these people get them using our coatings? All right. So then David said, would a sealant on top protect the coatings cure? Some brands suggest this. You could certainly do that.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt it.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna hurt it for sure. You could absolutely do that just to have kind of a protective layer. I still would wait an hour though, um, but I don't see why you couldn't put, like, ceramic shield or I don't know that I would do the graphene spray, but I would do ceramic shield or the ceramic detailer out of Sweet Elite, because that's just gonna give it a little bit. The thing
Yeah.
about, why I've never been a huge fan about putting sealants on top, and I know that we used to have to, but the reason I don't love that totally is because the coating itself, like Premiere, is so slick and deep that I want that to be the last look and feel that the customer feels. Now, obviously, in a rain situation, you're kind of trying to do what's best, but whatever you leave on top is what the behavior and characteristics are of temporarily, obviously the
Yep.
sealant's not gonna last as long, but yeah, but you could totally do that, and that wouldn't hurt anything. Oh my gosh. Did I miss this one? Okay, Arch, you're about as bad as Restream right now, Archie. Restream blocking my stuff. Okay, so Mike says yes. And then Clint James said, when is your car show? I'll be in Idaho next month for a few days. Dude, Clint, that would be amazing. It is on June 20th. It's Father's Day weekend, but it's the Saturday. If you were here, we would be so excited.
Yes.
Literally so excited. So excited. Sean says, I got to run. I enjoyed listening to the podcast. Well,
Thanks,
thank you,
Sean.
Sean. Thanks for being here. So great. So great. Well, and we should probably start wrapping it up too. I've made it almost this whole hour and I am starting to get dizzy, but I appreciate you guys for being the highlight of my day. Absolutely. Because I was not about to not get out of bed for you guys. Josh definitely was like, do we need to do something different? Do we need to make another plan? And I said, nope, I'm going to rally because I love Unwrapped and I want to be here for you guys. So, but however, I'm feeling a little bit like I might need to go lay down. So thank you guys for being here. Great conversation about bug removal, processes and products, all that good stuff. So we had some good rabbit holes to go down. So I love that. Real quick, A1 Detail Car Candy Life. Yes, we are living
Heck
the car
yeah.
candy life and we are loving it. Loving it, loving it. So we will be back here in 2 weeks for another episode. We'll have another fun topic for you guys. Maybe we'll have some product updates. That'll be fun. And, for anybody that's looking to go to SEMA, definitely check it out. SEMA is going to be exciting this year. I've heard from a couple of the brands, things they're doing. I know we're going to make a show of it. It's going to be super fun, super exciting. Super exciting. So a couple more questions before we take off. David said, just wanted to say I watched Car Candy for 2.5
years.
2.5 years. Gosh, this thing is killing me. 2.5 years. And I'm super excited and happy to almost have time to be able to get it. Yes, we are absolutely
We're working hard to get it to you.
For sure. Sarah, Frank, and Keith. Yes, it's nap time. But I have loved being here with you guys. When is SEMA? David said. It is the first week of November.
Yep.
3rd? Does it start the 3rd?
Yeah, I think so. Tuesday through Friday, first week in
Tuesday
November.
through Friday. It's so great. So great.
Yeah,
yes.
And this year is going to be especially great.
Yeah, we're super excited. Super, super excited. All right. Well, you guys, I will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, Josh, so much. And if you guys, obviously, if you have any questions, you can always reach us in Cam's Detailing Corner on Facebook for sure. We are always here. You can always message us, but I do love when you guys use Cam's Corner just so that other people can see your questions because they may have the same questions too and they just don't know it. So very good. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great rest of the week and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you, everybody.